Are you tired of the rent race and thinking about buying? How do you know if you're ready? Hey, I'm Matthias with eXp Realty here in Spokane, Washington, and today I'm going to give you 5 kind of below the surface questions you can ask yourself to gauge if you're ready to take the plunge into homeownership. It's week 1 of my 90 Days to Homeowner Challenge, and you can download a copy of my guide in the description below to follow along if you haven't already. Buying a home is definitely a huge financial decision, but it's also an emotional one. And while you can find lots of online calculators and quizzes to tell you whether you're financially set, the emotional side of buying is often overlooked. So to get a gauge if you're ready to stop renting and buy, think about these questions. The first one is, are you ready to put down some roots? Buying is a more long-term decision than renting, but it's not eternal. So you want to be sure you're ready to stay planted for at least a couple years before you commit to purchasing a house. It doesn't have to be forever, but it should be for the next few years. The next question is, are you looking for more privacy at home? For instance, if you're exhausted by noisy neighbors and you feel like you've got no place to stretch your legs, or maybe your family's growing, it might be a good time to consider buying. The next question is, are you content in your current job? Lenders really want to see job stability. So if you're thinking about buying, think about your long-term employment plans. If you know a job change is in your near future, it would be a great idea to talk to a lender to see how that might impact you. I have a couple great ones I can recommend. Generally, staying in the same industry doesn't impact your ability to secure a mortgage as much as, say, switching to a new field entirely. The next question is, what's your debt to income ratio? Your debt to income ratio is an important factor when applying for a mortgage. Getting your debt under control before purchasing is always a wise decision. There's a worksheet in the guide that you can download in the description below that will help walk you through this, but it's basically your rent plus whatever loan or credit card payments you have all added together, divided by your gross income. That's the one that's before the taxes come out. The max debt to income ratio for a conventional loan is right around 45%. So that'll give you kind of an idea of what you have to work with. And the last question you should ask is there really a desire to buy a home? You should never buy a home because other people are doing it or because you think it's what you're supposed to do next. You need to have your own motivation and desire. The amount of things it turns out I've done in my life just because I thought that's what I was supposed to do is bananas. Don't make those same mistakes. The first step towards homeownership is really saying with confidence to yourself and to others, let's do this. If buying your first home was one of your goals this year, or you're hoping next year is the year, join us on my 90 Day to Homeowner Challenge. It starts whenever you hop in, so download the guide in the description below to follow along. And I'll see you next Tuesday.